Welcome back to Pirate Diaries. On today's video, you will learn about Ohara Edison, the bilingual breakdown specialist, the man who with one video completely shifted the paradigm of One Piece tube. Manu, the brains behind the anime theory and analysis channel Ohara, the fastest growing One Piece channel on the platform. And with this type of traction, he is raking in some serious berries. But don't let Nami find out. Through exciting video ideas, a unique editing style, and a mastery understanding of the YouTube algorithm, it's almost like Manu is allergic to not going viral. If you type in One Piece theory on YouTube and you search it by the most viewed videos, 13 out of 15 of these videos are Ohara's, and one of the two that's not his is a reaction to one of his super theories. But just like we learned from Fullmetal Alchemist, equivalent exchange is real. When your rise to One Piece stardom was as fast and as bright as Ohara's, there's always a chance you could burn out and your fall from grace could happen just as quickly. When you give everything you got to every YouTube video, it takes something from you. That thing can be great or it can be troubling. Ohara has cultivated a diehard fan base for the extraordinary amount of effort he puts into every video. But don't forget the lessons we learned from our Grand Line review video. More views equals more problems. And with all these new eyeballs, he has gained more haters and people critiquing his recent choices. Ohara is getting crazier and crazier. What happened to Ohara? He was one of my favorite YouTubers. And like always, a plethora of spoiler and clickbait accusations. Is any of this justified? We will dissect all this and more. I was actually saving this video for later, but you asked for it on both my last two videos, so here it is. This is how Manu went from a guy who didn't even watch anime till college to being the most influential One Piece tuber on the platform, and the dark side of that kind of success. Manu's love for anime has an unorthodox origin when you compare it to the average weeb. Growing up, he didn't really spend too much time watching it. It wasn't even till late high school or really early university that he even gave it a real chance.
This is funny. This is like something that I always shock people with. Who do YouTube themselves or are somehow involved in the community. Not only was I not familiar and into the anime community at all when I started YouTube, I was barely familiar with anything YouTube when I started YouTube.
I mean, it's not like he hated it. He had even occasionally seen episodes of popular series like Pokemon, Naruto, or One Piece, but this was very sporadically. The main reason was because his mom had a strict no TV during the day policy. She felt it wasn't very classy. I mean, Manu's from Germany, and this may just be a German custom, so if there's any German people watching this, let us know in the comments. He also stated that anime had kind of a negative reputation in his high school, but regardless if he wanted to or not, he was only able to watch TV whenever he visited his grandmother's house. This made it impossible to watch any TV shows consistently, because whenever he did catch an episode or two, he had no idea what was going on. You have to keep in mind, this was all happening way before Netflix redefined binge culture. Back in the day, you had to watch TV shows weekly, and if you missed an episode, there was no way to rewatch it. You just had to fill in the blanks yourself or hope you caught a rerun or a marathon at some point. This is why if you ever watch an anime from the late 90s or early 2000s, there's like a 5-minute recap from the last episode. But this all culminated to him never really taking any show too serious. But that all changed when Manu was 17. He left for university to study marketing, and by this time, streaming platforms had taken over. They were so popular that he could binge as much as he wanted. And trust me, that's just what he did. Manu admitted he watched shows constantly, even passively while doing important things like studying. He considered himself a master multitasker. Now, he still didn't jump into anime right away because he actually fell in love with long-form sitcoms first. You see, shows like Scrubs and How I Met Your Mother took up most of his free time, and these type of shows always had 100+ episodes. So because of this, he had mastered the art of binging very quickly, and I do consider binging a skill. I've definitely started this series at the same time as someone else and had to wait weeks for them to finish before we could even talk about it. There's real levels to this weeb shit, but because he got so good at it, he eventually just ran out of things to watch. So one day, he's scrolling through streaming services like seen it, hated it, seen it, and he came across Naruto. He noticed it had a lot of episodes and was like, okay, everything else I liked had a lot of episodes, so I'll give it a go. And he pretty much loved it immediately. So after finishing Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, he looked up more long-form anime and watched Bleach and One Piece back to back. You have to understand how impressive this is and why I find it so interesting, because most anime fans do the exact opposite when they first get into anime. They only watch animes with 1 or 2 seasons first, and they actively avoid the super series because it's just too much of a commitment. So if your girl ever says you have commitment issues, make sure you let them know, like, bro, I watch One Piece, trust me, I can commit. I have plenty of friends that to this day refuse to watch One Piece because of the 1,000+ episode thing terrifies them. But how do you feel about the long form series? I actually kind of agree with Manu on this, because there's a certain type of world building and character development you can only get from hundreds of episodes. And thanks to the big three and that effect, Manu was completely hooked. He very quickly spiraled down the otaku rabbit hole. He binged anime after anime and even began exploring the Japanese culture even more. He did find a lot of things he felt were weird, but most mostly thought it was wonderful. He fell in love with ramen, samurais, and onsens, which made him appreciate the anime aesthetic even more, leading him to attempt to even learn Japanese, and not half-assed either. He used old textbooks and online resources to eventually become fluent, which is no easy task. Japanese is one of the hardest languages to learn. He even has a video explaining his journey to learning the language, which I would highly recommend. It's such a fun and cool watch, and it makes you realize that he probably could have made a career on YouTube in any niche. He's a good story crafter. In case you haven't noticed, he kind of has an obsessive nature and becomes completely engulfed in anything he does, a perfectionist of sorts. This will be one of the main things that is both helping and hurting him in the present day. All of his interests were feeding off of each other, leading Manu to create his YouTube channel Ohara on September 24th, 2018. And before we get into the best part of this video, I just want to say thank you so much for the reaction and feedback to my Tekking 101 video. I thought the lot goal of 178 was way too ambitious, but you guys obliterated it, showing that the Pirate Diaries fleet is the strongest up-and-coming crew on the YouTube seas. Had a grown man crying like Shirahoshi. The lot goal for this video will be 201, but only like it if you enjoyed the video or you learned something, and let me know in the comments, who should I do next? Manu made his channel so he could share his interests with the world. Because One Piece was his favorite series at the time, he had a lot of opinions on it. It became the primary focus of his channel pretty much immediately, which explains why he named it after the island of Ohara, an island in One Piece and home to our favorite archaeologists. His initial videos focused on One Piece chapter reviews, character breakdowns, and various analysis type content. These deep dives built a solid fan base rather quickly when compared to other AniTubers. This is most likely because he focused very heavily on production from the very start. Ohara stated that when he first discovered anime YouTube, he noticed that even the popular creators had a very low production value whenever you compared them to big creators in other niches. So he knew that putting in that extra flair would help him stand out, and he was right. He also has some unique perspectives and all-around excitement for the series. It would just bleed through his videos, allowing him to gain a diehard fan base rather quickly. Two of my favorite videos from this time period is his Origin of the Ancient Kingdoms video and his Usopp deep dive, but I'm just a sucker for lore. Off this content, he would reach 100,000 subscribers in around 2 years, but this is nothing compared to the growth he would see soon. And by this point, Japanese culture has pretty much took over his life. Every time he would eat ramen, he would think, I wonder what this would taste like in one of those cram ramen shops in Tokyo. You know, the ones in the steamy side streets you see in anime and movies. Whenever he would watch anime or read mangas, he would be in awe of the festivals, mountains, and cities. I think you know where this is going. In 2020, Manu left his home country and flew 6,000 miles to Japan to have his own anime adventure. He was also getting a lot better at getting the most out of every single video and just the overall understanding of how YouTube works. His titles are becoming less literal, like Why Buggy Knows About the One Piece, which is a video of why he thinks Buggy knows about the One Piece, to titles like he currently uses. Oda just revealed Shanks' true power in the new world, which on face value would be about a hidden strength or power that Shanks has that you might have missed while reading the chapter, but instead it's how we got to see more of Shanks' allies. But to be honest, the sneaky title worked. The video broke 400,000 views rather quickly, and it may be the most viewed chapter review of the week, but it did come with some drawbacks. Vague or clickbaity titles are nothing new to the anime community, so you may be wondering why I'm bringing this up in this video. That's because I believe Ohara is the person who made it commonplace, because he showed us best that it works. Throughout the last few years, Manu has given us a masterclass in the pros and cons of mastering YouTubeisms. Let's dive into the treacherous waters of clickbait, the right and the wrong ways it can be used. The best example of when it works dropped July 28th, 2021, when Ohara dropped his legendary video, The Best One Piece Theory You'll Ever Watch, I guess. The video currently sits at 4.1 million views, making it the most viewed One Piece video ever made by a YouTuber, and it deserves it. It's one of the main reasons that he's about to hit 1 million subscribers. For any creator, that's amazing, especially for someone who niches down. The video was fun, creative, and unique. Ohara had dumped every skill he had acquired up until then into the video. One Piece analysis, godly production, and camera switches mixed with B-roll that always keeps your attention. All of this made the video feel more like an anime episode than a YouTube video. And his decision to learn Japanese also came back around to help. It allowed him to research a whole new world of One Piece analysis and theories. Through this, he learned how kanji and numerology was very important in One Piece. Through his research, he also discovered the Japanese One Piece theorist Yudi Ro. He's also great, so check him out too. They would collaborate on the aforementioned super theory. It's hard to put into words how much this broke One Piece 2 for a week. Every video on every channel was either the creator reacting to, arguing against, or reviewing this video. Even Grand Line Review admitted that Ohara's video got so many impressions that it cut his normal views in half that week. This brings us to one of the many ways he influenced the niche. He accidentally created a new meta, super theories. Ohara's video was 22 minutes long, which was unheard of at the time. I mean, unless you're Tekking, but we're talking about mere humans here. But after Manu's video, people started dropping 30-minute plus videos on the regular, where the creator was trying to blow your mind like Ohara did. There is even a 3-hour long One Piece theory out there right now. That's as long as the Batman movie. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I mean, I love a lot of the videos. Basically, Manu exposed that the One Piece videos can reach reach way more people than they ever realized. People outside of the niche, what some people would call the casual audience. A part of the video's explosion was the vague title. It wasn't specific enough to alienate casual viewers. A more direct title with keywords about the voice century or EAM may have cut his views in half. This single-handedly changed how people started titling their videos. Every One Piece creator started naming every video things like, the best blank theory you'll ever see, this wild theory will blow your mind, this theory makes too much sense, including me on at least one video, and honestly up until recently it was my best performing video. But there is a reason I don't believe Ohara's original video was clickbait, and that's because he over-delivered. Whether you believed it was or was not the best theory ever, you knew he tried his absolute best. You left the video thinking, I believe he believes this is the best theory video ever. It felt genuine. It felt like he was excited to blow our minds because his own mind was blown. But it was almost like this video worked too well for him and other creators. A lot of One Piece creators figured out how to min-max YouTube, becoming addicted to the euphoric high that comes with breaking your previous most watched video. A forever moving goalpost. I know this because Manu even mentioned on a video I found while researching this. Basically, he was talking about how he dropped a Zoro video or something and it hit 600,000 views in a week, which was great for him. And he was worried that his next video wouldn't do that well. And that's an understanding feeling. I felt a lot of pressure whenever my last video did better than I expected. I was worried my next one wouldn't live up to your guys' expectations. But I kind of had to check myself because the best thing I can do is take my time and get something out that you deserve. If your titles and thumbnails are overtly focused on getting every last view from every video you do, that you're even okay with tricking your loyal subscribers just to reach that sweet casual viewer, it can be disheartening as a fan. It makes them feel like they're just a number to you. Ohara is so entertaining that I don't think getting 10% more views is worth pissing off your OG audience. By dialing your titles back just a little bit, you would be eliminating the only thing I see people critiquing him for. Let's take a close look at his Shanks power video, the one we previously mentioned. The very top comment is a sarcastic acknowledgement that he didn't deliver on the title. I really like the part where he explains Shanks' true power. I mean, Ohara hearted it, and another commenter's reply. The replier basically just said like, oh, well, Ohara was just using a play on words of the word power. But the thing is, I assumed the original commenter already knew that. He just felt like Manu crossed the line, switching into top 2 clickbait, the kind that deliberately is misleading. I think what Ohara tries to do is top 1, be hyperbolic but honest about the video's content. But what I think most big YouTubers don't realize is that it's not up to you to decide which is which. It's up to your audiences. 1,000 people liked that comment. That's 1,000 people that agreed it was bad clickbait. That's 1,000 humans that may not click his next video because they don't trust you. This style of title is basically created what I call anti-clickbait. It makes them see a cool title from you and go, nah, he's probably lying. I'm not even gonna give it a chance. Take Regan, another commenter that said, this is why I no longer click his content. And you might even be thinking 1,000 may seem small because he gets so many viewers, but that is most likely 1,000 of his original subscribers. To me, it's better to have 300 loyal supporters than 100,000 fair-weather fans because those 300 will be with you through ups and downs. And remember those Reddit threads we mentioned earlier? In one of them, the Redditor showed a side-by-side comparison of Ohara's old videos compared to his new ones, receiving 617 upvotes. And the most upvoted reply to that comment was someone stating that they recently unsubscribed to his channel. The primary reason, they're just not a fan of his new style of titles and thumbnails. Now look, I'm not picking on Ohara, I think he's great. This is more to all anime creators in general. It's just not worth it. I see a similar complaint in most videos of any anime creator these days, and I enjoy most of them, including Ohara, even the ones that practice hardcore YouTubeism. What I don't agree with though is why they use clickbait or spoilers to the extent they do. I think they are getting lost in the numbers and letting it justify their questionable behaviors. I know because you can read Ohara's Reddit post on spoilers, and you can watch Liam's video on why he does clickbait. They both use their views and other YouTube analytics to justify their YouTube practices. And I'll leave Ohara's response to the accusations in the description. And I think all of you should read it for yourself because it's a good read. You can tell how much he really loves YouTube and how much he really loves One Piece. But I think he just needs to believe in himself a little more. He claims the reason he does it is because he can't afford to not. He says that people like Tekking had a head start because they've been doing it so long. They don't need to clickbait or use spoilers because they have a loyal fan base that would watch them no matter what they talk about. I believe it's true about Ohara too. He has a loyal fan base. That's what got him to the point where his super theory could take off anyway. Even today, most of his most viewed videos are videos where his titles are pretty straightforward, and I do believe he'll find the perfect mix. I think he's even moving in the right direction. A lot of his new content is a mix of his old and new style. I love his new videos like all 82 backstories in One Piece explained. That's just my kind of videos I like, but that could be a personal thing. That's just the kind of content I prefer. If he continues to feed his OG audience, I think he'll be around for a long time, and I think that is important for a long YouTube career. But I think he's got this, but let me know what you think about Ohara in the comments. And by the way, I've also been working on ways to make our community closer, or any ways I can give back. So be on the lookout for that, or leave me any suggestions also in the comments. For now, check the description for Discord links or any other ways we can chat, discuss chapters, or just give me video requests. I left this message at the end because only the real Nakama made it this far. And for all of you asking, thank you, but no, no, Barry still hasn't released my family. I'm still saving up the berries for the ransom.